And we're coming back to you live from our bedrooms. I'm Sean.
And I'm Zach.
See, I did it that way because now the episode will end and just cut off as if I was going to tell you something.
Sean, you did tell me something.
Well, yeah, I did. Of course I did. Anyways, Zachy boy.
That's me.
I've got a doozy for you today.
Sean, I don't know if I'm ready for another existential crisis in my life.
I've got a duty.
I
mean, a duty.
Okay.
A duty. Okay, well, first of all, I just need to plug something.
Like we do.
Corby and I just released Prop Quest 2 on the channel.
Dude, I saw.
That video was filmed a year ago. So yeah, everybody check that out. I'm really excited to have it out now and
A year ago?
Over a year ago, but you know, whatever. It was so much more. Let me tell you this. It's so much more gratifying editing something when you don't remember anything that happened, because every single thing that happened in that was hilarious. So yeah, everyone should go check that out. It's probably my new favorite video by me and Corby. Honestly, I was losing my mind.
You know, I have to say, it's a miracle that we're on top of Spicy Nuggs.
Yeah, man.
It's an absolute miracle.
Last semester, you were like, "Thank you, Sean, for continuing to edit and get these out on time," and I'm just like, "Dude, I don't know how it's happening."
I just hold you to such a high standard. The people hold you to such a high standard.
Yes, it's the people. Yes, it's funny because like I was checking, you know, the statistics for
you do
when it came out yesterday, I believe, and it had 11 views within the first.
It had
I can't remember how many hours.
When I looked, I was like,
well, ours most Spicy Nuggs videos have like 5.
You know what it is? It has a thumbnail.
Oh yeah, it says Prop Quest 2.
2. It must be good then.
Anyways, yeah, everybody check that out. Yeah, it's great. It's amazing. It'll make you cry. It'll make you cheer. It's an emotional roller coaster all the way through. Such a well-developed story.
All right, I'm looking it up right now.
No, not right now, Zach. I have to talk to you about other things right now.
Quest 2.
Stop. Zach, I will eat your face.
Pyramid Planet, 1 day ago.
I will eat your face. Do you want me to eat your face?
Yeah.
Oh, well, continue then.
What the fetch I just look at?
What?
I'm a second in.
What? Oh, just once. Oh, yeah. Anyways, okay, Zach. For what I actually wanted to discuss today. Stop watching that.
I'm distracted. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
You can watch it on your own time.
This is my time.
No, it's mine. It's my show today, and you don't get to just watch that in the middle of my show. You can watch it afterwards.
You're right. All right, fine. Fair enough.
Okay. So, last semester, we talked about psychology and if it is a real science.
Ah, yes, back in the Dark Ages.
Yes, the ambiguity of like how things are diagnosed and what a psychopath is and all of that, right?
Okay. I vaguely remember this conversation.
Yeah. So I want to kind of go back to that because I feel a little better equipped to answer.
Sean's been doing some research over the last few months and has come to a conclusion.
Not really. In fact, what I'm going to do here might actually just throw a wrench in it more.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, so this is gonna have some layers here. So just bear with me, okay? Just bear with me on this one.
Rawr.
Dude, that is so hot. Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's not at all where I thought you'd go with that. I'm sorry. Psychology.
Okay. So the first thing I need to do is kind of explain how psychology has progressed as a field. Okay, so we're taking it all the way back to Freud.
Oh,
right?
Boy.
He was kind of the first.
Anna, this is for you.
This is big shout out to Anna. Freud. So first of all, Freud right? He came up with psychoanalysis. He was very big on unconscious, like things that are trapped way beneath us that we don't even really know, but are there, are affecting every day. It all happens. All of it develops in childhood, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Just the weird Freud stuff. So, and that was really popular for a while. Everyone was like, "Oh, Freud is super cool. I love all these ideas. This is great." But some, they wouldn't be called psychologists yet, probably, but they were like, the problem with this is there's no way to prove it at all. Like, you just kind of have to take what he says for granted, essentially.
Right.
So they're like, if we want this to be a science, we need to have we have to measure something, and that's where behaviorism came in. All right, so that's Pavlov's dogs, stuff like that. Behaviorism is a direct result of what Freud's ideas, basically, because it's people saying, I don't like that because you can't prove anything about it. We're gonna measure behavior and times and things like that. And essentially what came out of behaviorism was people are like robots. I can literally train a person to do anything I want as long as I give them the right or I influence them in the right way. Just like Pavlov's dogs, right?
Okay.
They heard the bell and they
nothing
became
more
hungry.
than a robot.
Exactly. So then some people came back and they were like, I don't really like the idea that people are literally just robots. I'm not really super into that. And this guy named Carl Rogers and some other people came up with humanistic psychology. And this is probably what you would think of in therapy. And it's used oftentimes in therapy. It's called client-centered therapy. It's all about you can solve your own problems. You have all the power within you. People are genuinely good, and like there's a lot going on within you, but you do have the capacity to solve all your own problems. That's what therapy is for. So you could just talk it out with someone, and then you can kind of realize what you need to do, right? So it was a direct result of behaviorism saying, like, you are only robots, and it was saying, no, we're not just robots. We're right.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Out of that, and that was probably, I'd say, getting into like the 80s. Going into the 90s, we kind of get more into cognitive psychology, which is very similar to humanistic, honestly, because it's like what you take in is what you become, kind of. If you believe that you're a loser, you'll basically be a loser, right? Just kind of that kind of thing. As well as developmental psychology, forming attachments at an early age was very popular. Anyways, and that gets us to kind of where we are today. And right now, probably what's the biggest is biological psychology, biopsychology. Looking at the brain, hormones. Like, I mean, if someone goes to a doctor and is like, or really anyone is just like, hey, I'm depressed, they're going to give them pills.
Yep.
Because the pills are going to send the right signals, and that's pretty much where we're at today. And so it's interesting kind of studying psychology where I'm at now, because like there's kind of like this battle that's been going on for all this time in psychology, where it's like on one side you have people like Freud or the humanistic people who are like, people have depth and are complicated. And on the other end, you have kind of behaviorists and, to a certain degree, biopsychologists who are like, if you push the right buttons and flip the right switches, you can change how a person feels or thinks.
Right, there's always like two different, like completely different sides to it, right?
Which is very interesting because it's one field. So, and here's where this entire thought process came from. I watched in my humanities through the arts class. We watched a documentary.
Was it a TED Talk?
It was not a TED Talk. It was a documentary. The long version of being a jerk. Anyway. So it was about Alzheimer patients, and it opened up with they were interviewing this lady. She was like she's probably in her 60s or 70s, high functioning Alzheimer's. Like she can have a conversation with people, but she clearly doesn't remember stuff. Like they ask, "What was it like in your childhood?" And she says, "I don't remember. I'm sorry." And so they ask that kind of question a couple times, and she just clearly doesn't remember. And then they give her a pair of headphones, and they let her. And beforehand, they'd found out what kind of music she had listened to back then. And so they played the song. I can't remember who sang it, but it was "When the Saints Go Marching In" by someone from back then. Yeah,
go marching in.
Oh, when the Saints go marching in, you know I wanna be in that number. Ow!
Yeah, that one. Love that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So she listened to that, and then it just showed clip after clip of her just telling stories from her childhood. Immediately.
Whoa.
And so they were talking about, and basically what the documentary was about was there's this guy, he realized that letting Alzheimer's patients listen to music kind of brought something back for them. It let them remember things. And so he was trying to get funding to give iPods to Alzheimer patients in homes, but the government wouldn't give it to him because an iPod is not a medical device.
Okay.
So that's basically what it was about. And it was showing lots of different like examples of that happening. But there's one quote that I really liked. I'm not going to quote it exactly, but basically they talked about how these Alzheimer's patients, they go into these homes, and every single moment of their lives, they're told exactly what to do at that point on. They don't have independence anymore. Their rooms, and then there's times where they all gather together, and then there's medicine time and all this stuff like that. And like genuinely good people and nurses working hard to help them, but just the way the system is set up, it's just they use the phrase turning the dials of the body, giving them the pills to switch the right switches and send the right things to the right places. And yet, despite doing all those things, like these Alzheimer's patients often are just sitting in a wheelchair in a vegetative state, nearly not speaking, just completely gone.
Okay.
Then he used the phrase when they put the music on, it's touching the soul of the person. That brings them back. So we have turning dials of the body versus touching the soul. And this is kind of where I've gotten to with psychology. If it's a science, yes, but also no.
That's so helpful, Sean.
Here's the thing. I think the parts of it that apply to science are science. The behavioristic things are true. The biological things are true, but they don't always work the way you want them to. And that's where kind of that part of the soul comes in. And that's something that you just can't measure. It's not something that works that way.
I don't know. Did you just hear us singing "When the Saints Go Marching"? Like, dude, the soul is there.
Wait, I didn't hear it. Sean, play it back. Yeah.
Go marching in.
Oh, when the Saints go marching in, you know I want to be in that number. Ow! That was beautiful. Wow. He
touched the soul.
You know what Sean in editing did?
Sean, what did you do in editing?
He made it sound like it was a chorus of us singing.
Yeah, I look forward to that. That's gonna touch my soul.
Yeah, man, it's great. So yeah, that's where I've gotten to with this. I just wanted to spew all of that out, but like, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about any of that? Like, holy crap, it was a lot. But
you took me on a journey. Where do I start?
Yeah.
Well, it all started when I was born.
Mm-hmm.
I told Sean he was an idiot. And that basically, ever since he disagreed with me, the tall man, that everything he said was just wrong. So I'm just gonna go away and say that Yes, but no. No, sorry, no, but yes. There it is.
No, but yes,
Uh-huh.
it's not a science, but it also is.
So, okay, when you mentioned, when you first mentioned that, music, like, brought back those memories for that person, I don't know if it's gonna be the right wording, but, like, my initial thought was the music was a trigger in the mind. And it's like, you know how, like, when you hear something, like, maybe you listened to, a a song while you were studying or something, and then like later when you're like maybe taking the quiz that you were studying for or something, like you're like, oh, like you can like remember the song you were listening to. Does that ever happen to you? Because that happens to me all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like that was like my initial thought was that like um I feel like as humans we often like kind of clump experiences together, kind of like so like when you're like the music and studying, it's like you'll like if you do one of those, there's probably a good chance you'll remember the other thing as well. And so like, I guess that's kind of what like my thought process was when you mentioned that. So I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they definitely they went through and explained kind of in the documentary. Music memory from music is stored differently in the brain from other memories.
Hmm.
I can't remember, but like basically, it's stored in the hindbrain, which the hindbrain is like the very basic brain functions. It's the thing that keeps you breathing and your heart pumping, like just stuff that keeps you alive, essentially. And with Alzheimer patients, what deteriorates is all the stuff in like the forebrain, all the higher
Mm.
functioning stuff.
Right.
And so that would be an explanation for why like they hear the music and it brings those memories back because that part of the memory of the brain has not deteriorated. So it is true. Yeah, it's interesting that like even this stuff where it's like where it seems like it's touching the soul, you still can find a scientific explanation for it. But I
But
feel
maybe
like
there's more to it.
I that's the thing with psychology. There's like always more to it.
See, I like how you phrased it earlier. Where you're like, yes, it's a science because of like the like reactions and stuff like that, right? But there's gonna be more to it. Like, I love the way you said that because it's like, because then like, because like it's hard to like say no, it's not because like clearly, um, you can see instances where like yes, this equals this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's never going to always. There's always going to be exceptions, and even if there's not exceptions, I guarantee there's always going to be more to anything, not just psychology.
For sure. I mean, just think about like all you have to think about is your personality now, and like everything that's gone into that. It was not only one thing, even just like a small part of your personality, like how you react in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't occur just because of your genetic makeup, nor did it occur only because of like a single life event. That probably influenced it, or other things influenced it, but it's all those things together. And
Right, it's not just
yeah,
some instinctive reaction, or it's not just something your body's telling you should be doing, like saying like pulling your hand away from something that's hot, right? It's
mm-hmm.
like it's a combination of I guess I can't really say it is, but like I would guess that it's everything. It's all your experiences from the past. It's those reactions. It's a mash. It's like I don't know. It's like mashed potatoes, man. You just kind of lump it all in together,
Mm.
and there
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah. It's just like mashed potatoes. Psychology is mashed potatoes. We now have a name for this episode.
It's it's so hard to like phrase this stuff, man.
No, I totally
like in
get
my
it.
head, I'm like, yeah, this is it. I'm like, but how do I say it out loud? Like, how do I phrase this up? Sound like a complete monkey.
How are we doing on time? Where are we at?
We're right about there.
We're about there.
About there.
Okay. I love doing that, and then like two people like talking over one another, and then it just ends with like something really weird. So do it with me for a second.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, man. It's
kind of like
a corn dog.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Corn dog. I don't know. Personally, I think I love it when there's just that awkward silence at the end. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, man.
And neither of you know anything the other person said. And it's just like, well, this just happened.
You know, that if we end this episode with some awkward silence, then that would basically be what this episode was. It's just, we don't really know what just happened.
I love it.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. I'm still Sean.
I'm so sorry.
Bye-bye.
Speaking, everybody loves to speaking. Everybody loves to speak.
This is what happened. Because I had OBS open, to record Spicy Nuggs, like I do, because it's my duty now, apparently.
Yeah.
It put me in streamer mode on Discord, so I don't get any notifications. So I didn't even know you had called.
You know what that says to me?
It
says to me that you don't care about me.
Well, that's true, too.
And it just gets so hard sometimes, Zach, and I just really need you here for me.
Sean, it sounds like you're going through a really tough time right now. And I know just what can help you.
Please.
Talking to someone other than me.
You know, that is a good idea. I didn't even think of that.
I know. It's crazy. Normally, I have all the answers, but this one, I'm gonna have to...
Every time I'm going through tough things, I just think to myself, I should go to Zach, because Zach just hates me enough that he will give me all the wrong advice, and then all I have to do is do the opposite of that.
Exactly.
And I'll be fine. And that's how I made it this far in life. That's how I'm at the point where I am today.
I mean, look where it got you, though.
Yeah.
So...
Crap.
Sorry, man. Maybe you should have done the opposite of everything I said, just mostly everything.
I got confused sometimes. I was like, wait, am I doing the opposite of what he says or exactly what he says? And then I just end up in a hole. like a literal hole. Probably in Kansas somewhere. Or Nebraska.
Kansas? Freaking Kansas, dude.
And I'm just sitting in this hole and I'm like, gosh dang it, Zach! It was the opposite.
You live and you learn, man. You live and you learn.
Yeah.
So, Sean, you're gonna start us off already?
I don't know, maybe if I feel like it.
Okay. I'll just drink my water.
Yeah, so it's fine. I mean, it's cool, baby boy. We can just sit here and just chill,
I can give them some the drinking ASMR. With some ice water. There it is. There it is. There it is.
Wow, Zach, that's some wild stuff that's happening over there.
Don't worry about it, man. It's the only proper way to drink water.
Agreed. I guess.
You guess?
Yeah, I mean, I can't just agree with you on everything, because if I did, then there'd be no back and forth dynamic that everybody loves. Everybody being on each.
Do you think there's even a little bit of a dynamic here?
Check. Oh, nobody. Oh, never mind then.
Anyone? Anyone?
I wanted to tell you something. It was